Well, howdy, howdy, howdy. Nearly Senior Citizen here. Greetings, boys and girls, and welcome to this, a brand new day. Yes, indeed. It is apparently Wednesday. If you live on the, in Washington State, in the Pacific Northwest, the Pacific time zone. I mean, it's sun's coming up. It's grayish outside. There was heavy cloud cover. I did a slight walkies last night, had to walk to Safeway and then back, so not many people. The few people that there were out on the streets I avoided, and so that was easy. And then in the store, not many people, so did what I could, got in, got my stuff, got out. I don't go in to browse. And there's this one person that I've seen in there before where she was charging around a couple weeks back. When I saw her in there again last night, she was looking kind of sweaty, kind of like she wasn't feeling all that well. So, joy. And that's the way life is here in the United States. I mean, you have to deal with all sorts of fun stuff. We have the leading most number of people dying because we're already trying to open things up, which means the first wave, which isn't even over, is going to continue getting worse, and then the second wave is going to make the first wave look like, a tide as the tsunami comes in. So, thumbs up. But as depressing as that is, we're going to talk about some other stuff instead, as I run the gamut of emotional highs and lows right there. Thumbs up. Because I don't have a ton to talk about. I haven't done a lot. I had minor falling asleep issues, very minor, yesterday. So, and then recorded and did editing, watched videos, played some games. So, and then went walkies and came back and then went to bed early. So, not an exciting life, not a whole lot. I do most of my living up here in my head anyway, thinking about this, that, and the other. Of which, some of the things I wanted to talk about, I got to bring my topics list up so I can actually see it. And now it's going to be even more of a spotlight shining its white beam over at my head. I used to collect comic books. I collected comic books for decades. I had like 30,000 comics in my collection. Then I went and sold them and drank it because I was an active alcoholic at the time. Now I have very few of my comics left. But I have read some others. Like there was this one that I really liked because of the background stuff. It was done by Alan Moore, who's done, all the good stuff in the world in comic books. But it was kind of a science fiction / superhero / more type of story. It had all the superhero stuff going on, but it was based on, there was an original timeline, and the original timeline is still in charge. Everyone looks up to the original timeline because that's prime. It's the original timeline. Every timeline down from that is more degraded than the original timeline. Degraded in that, they're variants. It's different. It's not the original anymore. So where the stories take place are about 10, 15, 20 ticks away from Prime, and they live here, and they're called, it's a world that's filled with science heroes. People have superhero abilities and stuff, but there's also a fair amount of immigration from other timelines. One of the characters in the original book that spins off into a second book in another time, he's from a fantasy-based reality, and he immigrated to here. So he doesn't wear a shirt, he's blue, he's got this big glowing white hand on his chest, and he's a sword guy, but he's also a police detective. And he comes from a magic-based reality. So he's got magic stuff. But Prime, what I like what Alan Moore did about this was showing how just because something is original or, the best doesn't actually mean it's the best. Because in this series, Prime, the original timeline, basically based on Rome, it's like everything is Roman. Extremely, extremely Roman. Powerfully so. To the point that even though they have science heroes in that world, even though it is of a technological base even higher than ours, they have like flying cars and stuff. Well, it's based on Rome. And so it's also extremely violent and racist and bigoted. One of the characters from our timeline in the story, not our, because, you know, there's these science heroes in it, so it's not our timeline, but it's the timeline we're following in the stories. One of the fellows has to go to Prime for a meeting. Doesn't think about it, but he's a black fellow. So when he arrives there, he's thrown into the arena for blood sports. And he has to fight all these other gladiators. He wins, he murders them all so that he can win. But yeah, he was just thrown into the arena to fight for his life for blood sports on the original Prime timeline. That would be like if our reality, you take a look at the Prime reality, the one that we're based on, and it's like fascist Italy and Germany wrapped up together into an even more fascist, horrific Nazi state. And that's what we're based on, only 7 or 8 ticks away from it. That would be horrible. I can't imagine what it would feel like to be one of the people in that situation where it's like, yep, here's the original, and they are terrible. So it was an interesting and fascinating idea. I really liked that one. So thumbs up on that. Also, I have just a little bit of thinking and talking about my cosmic horror pantheon and the fact that I have, it's straight baked into it all that it's multiversal. I mean, each universe in the multiverse is spawning just incredible amounts of, there are an infinite amount of universes. I mean, literally. So any cosmological map that you can imagine is going to be just a construct, just a metaphor, because there are literally an infinite number of universes being spawned all the time. Because each individual universe in the multiverse, well, let's say it's ours. You know, inside of our universe. On the other side of our universe, in a galactic cluster, in one galaxy, in one star system on that galaxy, in that galaxy, on one planet in that star system, on one continent of that planet, on just one beach of that continent, in one grain of sand on that beach, in one molecule of that grain of sand, in one atom of that molecule, in one subatomic particle of that atom, there are the quarks that make up the subatomic particle, that make up the atom, that make up the molecule, that make up the grain of sand, that make up the beach, that makes up the planet that's orbiting the star system. But each quark has an infinite number of directions that they can travel in each femtosecond. And there are more femtoseconds in 1 second than there are regular seconds between the time the dinosaurs died and right now. But in each femtosecond, each one of those quarks spawns an infinite number of universes because there's an infinite number of directions they can travel in. And that's just one quark. Each one of them is doing that. And then in each subatomic particle, and each atom, each molecule, each grain of sand, each beach, each planet, from the micro to the macro. And then, of course, there's just the standard regular birth of universes. And universes live, grow, age, mature, wither, and die. But that's a lot of universes. And so any cosmological map that you can come up with is just metaphor, which is why my cosmological map that I come up with for what I see as the multiverse for my cosmic horror pantheon is, I've mentioned this before, it's like a galaxy with the middle of it being there's technically three major layers to the multiverse. There's the Ungara, the Ungare, and the Ungadan. The Ungara, we couldn't even go there. We would flash and burn. It's much too real. And anyone from that reality who tries to come to our universe, our universe would just flash and burn. It's the difference in power levels. And there's the Ungare, which is between them and us. And then there's the Ungadan, the cold and dark, where we are. But that's just one cosmological map, and it's of course can't be accurate because each one of these is infinite. Each one of those zones is infinitely large and unbounded, and yet they have boundaries, because if you go outside of the multiverse, each one of the multiverses is floating in a void that is so pure of a void that even if there was just one quark inside of our universe, our visible universe is like 13 point something billion. It's huge. It's massive. I can't even remember the appropriate terms for it. But even if there were just one quark inside of that, that would be far too claustrophobic, to be too tight, too filled with junk, to even be close to the sort of void that is between universes. That's why it is known as the Ungada, the void. So thumbs up for that. But that's taken over at my thing. Cosmological maps, you could also take a look at the void as being like an ocean, and each of these little islands is the universe, and it's just filled with all these islands. And then the closer you get to, let's say, this volcano in the middle, any cosmological map you can come up with is a good one. It's just that I happen to think for this purpose, because over the top of this galaxy of a multiverse is, of course, the infinite abandoned city, just laid over the top of it like a tablecloth. The Ungaru. Thumbs up. And I just wanted to mention that because multiverses, infinite things, is hard to wrap your head around, especially with the infinite abandoned city, because it is infinite. It is unlimited and unbounded. So each direction you go, it goes, and it never stops. And these people were able to create it and then people it. Thumbs up. Anything else we have there? Oh yes, on the humanizing of my pantheon. There's a reason that I humanize my cosmic horror pantheon, and I don't know why. There's a reason, I'm not quite sure what that reason is. Because on our level, yeah, they don't even know we exist, and we can't understand them. They can't understand us. The power level is such, I've mentioned, that they can't even hate us. The cosmic horrors are such that they're like gravity. You know, gravity isn't mad at us, and we can't be mad at gravity. You know, you can't fight gravity. Gravity isn't trying to kill people. It's just there. So the actual cosmic horrors themselves, especially since if they tried to enter our universe, it would just flash and burn. The horror we get is, we are totally inconsequential. Any horrific stuff that happens to us 99% of the time is because one of the cosmic horrors just happen to have their focus attention on a universe near ours. And the heat and the pressure that radiates outward from that attention, well, it melts and warps the bindings and the underpinnings of our reality. And so, yeah, it's nasty and horrific. But that's also, again, it's on their level. They don't even know we're here. So, but hey, thumbs up for that. That's why I figured that sometimes their attention and pressure can be positive. That's why on my one fantasy world that I've been working on with the bone-hurting juice, one of them is actually Seder Sea. Everyone worships him as a god. And it's not a negative thing with its heat and pressure. This one particular universe, it took billions of variations for one of them to show up, where it's actually a positive thing that it happens. So thumbs up on that. And of course, making sure I'm semi-centered, I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab using the terrible, awful, hard to use, thoroughly repulsive, and just why they got rid of something that worked to replace it with this piece of garbage, I don't know. But I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab, and I'm going to go through and thank, 20 to 25 people for having left me a comment. I'm not reading the comments right now. I'm going to read them afterward. Right now, I'm just thanking you for having left a comment. If I mispronounce a username, no disrespect is intended. I'm an American English speaker. We're just not good at that. And even though I count an American Sign Language on the fingers of that hand, with my depression, fibro, and more, I'm amazed that I can remember anything at all. So I do the best I can. And then back to this one. Make sure I'm semi-centered and call up my Chrome. We have Gordon Grow. Thank you very, very much. And Hoosier. Thumbs up and thank you. Dr_Durex, greatly appreciated. Furdroid6, thumbs up and thank you. CIAT, greatly appreciated. Isabella Smith, thank you very, very much. We have Big 1600, thank you very much. Still holding the L, a heck of a name, and thank you. Hobos ate my chicken. Well, how about that? Then we have Connor Mushat, greatly appreciated. Little Make-A-Wish Kid, thumbs up and thank you. Toasted, greatly appreciated. Jocelyn Johnson, thumbs up and thank you. Santiago Lopez, thank you. Damian Wynn, greatly appreciated. Sub to PewDiePie, thumbs up and thank you. We have Clarence, greatly appreciated. Kathy Kitscat, thumbs up and thank you much. We have Frosted, greatly appreciated. Elliot DZIERZANOWSKI, thumbs up and thank you very much. I Bleed T, heck of a name. And El Harache RM, thumbs up and thank you. Trave, T-Rave, not quite sure, but thank you very, very much. We have Jackal59, thumbs up and thank you. And last but not least, Night with 2 eyes. Thumbs up and thank you all so very, very much. Back over to the other camera. You get me out of my head, into the world, dealing with real people. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. Definitely a thumbs up. Oofda, as I try to remember the stuff that I normally say. Well, if you could check out my various links, though, I have Twitter, Facebook, GoFundMe, Patreon.com. If you could donate to my GoFundMe campaign or become a Patreon.com patron, like one of these beautiful and awesome people, that would be beautiful and awesome. If you wanted to help me out, but you didn't want to send money to one of those two places, I have a PayPal link down below. That would be very cool. And if you wanted to help me out, but you didn't want to send money, I have an Amazon wishlist link as well. That would be very cool, too. It has things like hamster food, cat food, hamster bedding, silly things, not silly things. If you could check it out, that would be very cool. And now, do not feel obligated. I do not feel entitled. And if you cannot donate, or you simply do not donate, I take all good wishes and I deposit them in the bank of my heart, where I draw interest. So thank you very much. If you can toss me a like, I do appreciate all the positive validation I get from my existence. Definitely a thumbs up. And of course, if you could subscribe to the channel and hit that bell, that would be very cool and greatly appreciated. I would understand if you did not wish to, but if you are down with it, I will do my best to keep you entertained from now until the literal end of time. Thumbs up for that. And then back to the main camera. Thumbs up on that as well. Well, shuckle my duckle. We have lots of things happening in the world, obliviously. I think it's raining outside. I just thought I'd mention that. I have videos to record and edit and render for this channel, my 2 daily, and then 1 for my game channel. Thumbs up for that. If you have watched to the end, thank you so very much. It is greatly appreciated to no end. Definitely a thumbs up. The bulk of my views for all of my videos drop off dramatically after the first 3 minutes. So if you watch this far, it is appreciated. Definitely a thumbs up. So, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, my friend, and that is a very good thing. And yes, still, smile. It actually does help. It lights up the happiness circuits, that's the word I was looking for, in your brain, and that is a very good thing.